We got Kevin McGuffey here from Last Word on College Football. There you see his Twitter handle. Follow him on Twitter and track his work there at Last Word on College Football. Get his early bowl projections.
I'm still working on it. It hasn't happened yet, but it will. I promise within the next probably couple of weeks. And also, we did, just to tie along with media days, we decided to do, just for fun, we did our own SEC media poll between all the staff at Last Word for the East and the West, and then pick a champion. And I think that'll probably publish tomorrow, maybe. So, but yeah, like you were talking about, obviously Georgia and Alabama, no spoiler alert, not really giving anything away here. Georgia's picked to win the East, Alabama's picked to win the West. But then those, as you talked about in the beginning, those 2 through 5, and honestly, in the East and West, you've got a whole, a bunch of schools. Any one of those schools could jump up, and take that. You think about Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, or South Carolina. I don't think, no disrespect to Missouri, but I don't think they're going to be that big of a factor this year. And then, despite what Vandy's coach said, they're not, poised to be a national power. I don't know if you heard that. He said they're, within the next few years. But then, you have Alabama. Then, of course, you have Texas A&M, Ole Miss, LSU, and Arkansas. Any one of those schools could probably jump up, for that second spot. And as spoiler alert, we actually had one person, one of our staff members, picked Ole Miss to win the SEC West. So
that was going to be my question. What did anybody not pick Georgia and Alabama? Okay, somebody picked Ole Miss.
Yeah, somebody picked Ole Miss. It was not me. I picked Georgia. I picked Alabama. I did pick Kentucky second. Like I had Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, and then Missouri and Vandy. That was my. That's how I had the SEC East playing out. So,
and to quote Clark Lee, because I took notes on as soon as I heard that he had said that, I watched the complete deal, and I haven't produced a video on it, but I was going to, thinking, okay, I took notes on his speech and thought, you know what, why not? Let's give Vandy some love, and kudos to him for coming out and saying we want to be the best program in the country. Wow.
I mean, if you're not playing, if you're not doing this to try to be the best, then what's what's the point, I guess. But they were unfortunately a unanimous number 7 pick in our poll. Like I said, I think that'll be out tomorrow. So I encourage everyone. We had a lot of fun with that, putting that together, and so I think it turned out really well. So that should be up, I think, tomorrow. So, Friday as we're talking. So it should be up by the time you see this. It's probably going to be up.
So back to the Georgia, Alabama, and everybody else narrative. So the FPI, which I'm not a big believer in, but it can only be wrong so many times, is obviously, looking at Georgia and Alabama and giving them something like a combined 97 to 98% certainty that one of those two is going to win the SEC. I just think I don't think it's wrong. I just think it's unheard of that that the SEC, with the likes of programs like Florida and LSU and Texas A&M, et cetera, would have two teams to be projected to be so dominant. And again, I'm not arguing with that. The point I was going to get to is that you got Vandy at the bottom. They're the clear-cut bottom. Then you got Alabama, Georgia at the top. But that 3 through 13 is really anybody's guess. And Kentucky, you would have to put near the top of that 3 through 13 with a real chance to do something.
Right, yeah. And I believe with that same index, I think Kentucky was the third highest chances of winning the SEC, which I think was 0.9. But to quote one of the greatest movies ever, Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance, So, but no, you're exactly right, and you never know, because with the balance. You say you have Alabama and Georgia, but then you have everybody else. But you never know, like injuries. You never know what's going to happen. Somebody could just get hot and just lead a team. Kind of like, Joe Burrow did, a couple years with LSU. I mean, we knew he was a good quarterback, but I don't know that anybody knew was going to have that kind of season that he had. One of those guys could get, You just never know. And I think Alabama plays at Ole Miss this year, but I think they host Texas A&M, and of course Kentucky gets Georgia at home this year. So, Cat fans are obviously, that game is already, that game's already sold out, which is great, because usually what happens, with Georgia and LSU and a lot of these teams, they bring 7, 8, 10,000 fans, to the opposing schools. And, people at UK, they had this thing that, okay, we can't let, 10,000 Georgia fans in here. Let's get this thing sold out. And it's, that game's already sold out. So, that's the game. That's the game that they have circled on their schedule. But of course, they have to go to Florida. They have to go to Tennessee. So it's not, there's really no easy games when you think about it in the SEC. There are games that you should win. You should win handily. But, to use the old coaching cliche, there's no, take it one game at a time, and there's no easy victory. So,
yeah, and I'm not even going to call them guarantees, because Vanderbilt's going to win a game in the conference at some point again.
Somebody, yeah.
But it's been 21 consecutive games for Vandy, and if they go 0-8 again, I think that's what everyone's expecting. But they will win a game at some point against somebody.
I don't have their schedule in front of me, but I don't know. I know Kentucky
against Kentucky.
Yeah, let's hope it's not. We're still trying to get past the James Franklin era when they beat us like 5 years. 5 years in a row.
They beat some good teams during that time.
Yeah, and then they beat Tennessee. They beat Tennessee like 2 or 3 years in a row too, I believe. So yeah, it's like I said. Any given Saturday. I'm just going to throw all the cliches out there today. Any given Saturday, anything can happen. So.
And the Missouri game, you would hope, would be a win. If somebody told me today that Missouri beat Kentucky, I would think, oh boy, maybe Kentucky's not going to have the season that they. So those are the two that should be in the bag. Right.
And I don't know if you caught this. One of the Missouri players said that he hated Kentucky more, they hated Kentucky more than like Arkansas, or like wanted to beat them worse, than Arkansas. And usually, I think Arkansas and Missouri is a pretty good, kind of a rivalry game. So that was one of those, like, okay, circle that one on the, put that one up on the bulletin board for when the Missouri game comes around. But yeah, like I said, I think, I still think 9-3 is a good 8-4 if, they struggle in a couple games. But I think 9-3 for Kentucky is a good, good starting place. And then, like I said, right now I'm leaning towards them playing. It's not the Outback Bowl anymore now. It's like it was the Tampa Bay Bowl, and I think somebody else has like sponsored it now. But
the Outback Bowl, really? We don't have the Outback Bowl anymore.
Yeah, it was called the Tampa Bay Bowl. I could try to look it up real quick, but it was like Outback's not the sponsor anymore. So it's I don't remember who the new sponsor is, but let's just look it up real quick.
That's the problem with having these sponsors, because man, I got used to. Obviously, we all grew up and we're used to the Outback Bowl. It's been the Outback.
Right. Yeah, I got. It's let's see.
It was the Hall of Fame Bowl before that.
Right. Yeah, the Hall of Fame Bowl. Yeah, like I said, one of the greatest trips I ever got to go on was for my work. I work here at the NBC affiliate here in Lexington, Kentucky. And so it was named the Tampa Bay Bowl. And then, like I said, I think somebody else has taken over the sponsorship now. But anyway, one of the greatest trips I ever got to go on was when Kentucky played Penn State in the 98 Outback Bowl, or 99 Outback Bowl.
Yep.
Like 45,000 Kentucky fans invaded Tampa. And we spent an entire week down there doing like our news and all these specials, and me 25 years ago, this was the greatest thing in the world. Now, old man me, I would be like, I can't do this anymore. But that was one of the greatest experiences ever. And, it's the only Florida Bowl Kentucky hasn't, other than the, I can't think of it. I should know these as the person does our bowl games.
The Citrus Bowl?
Now, they've been to the Citrus Bowl twice, and they've been to the Tax Slayer Bowl now. So the Outback Bowl is the only one that they're missing. So
the Russell Athletic Bowl?
Yeah, one of those Green Bowl. Yeah, one of those that has the SEC in it. But anyway, like I said, I'm leaning towards Kentucky and Michigan State, and whatever the game is being called now, that's who I'm looking at.
And that would be a heck into the Gator Bowl.
Right. right? Yeah, they've been to the Gator Bowl, they've been to the Citrus Bowl twice, and then been to the then what used to be the Belk Bowl. Now I guess it's the Mayo. I guess it's the Mayo
Yes.
Bowl now. So, but like I said, but going back, tying things together, going back to our original thought, Stoops, 4 straight bowl wins, 6 straight bowl games. That's things has never been done here at Kentucky, and there's no reason why. Obviously, they should make another bowl game this year, and then, like I said, I'm leaning towards that Tampa, whatever. I'm sure everyone's going to chime in and it's a blah, 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 blah bowl. You should know this, but anyway. So, like I said, but anyway, that's what I'm thinking. That's where Kentucky goes. I'm going to say 9-3, and they're going to play Michigan State in the formerly known as the Outback Bowl.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be a nice little get together there. Kentucky's met the Big Ten a number of times, beat Iowa last year, played Northwestern, of course, here in the last 4 or 5 years as well.